This week on Trolling the Territory, we take more shots than Jim Ross on the Jericho Cruise and touch on more subjects than Velveteen Dream. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of Trolling the Territory. I'm Isaac Riston. Kyle Wilkerson is on assignment this week, but I am joined by the human Fitbit himself, Leigh Howison. How are you?
You know, I was having a great week until I tried to cram a week's worth of wrestling into
Oh
one
my
evening.
God. You and me both. Just a little tidbit here. We're going to be a little bit more fluid with this show, just because, man, you got stuff to do. We got stuff to do. So go ahead and put your headphones on, start cutting your grass, and let's talk about wrestling. We're going to kick it off with news and notes. What the hell's going on, Leigh?
Oh,
Real quick, let me ask you something. You posted something on Instagram last night. Well, I want to talk about real life for a minute. You introduced your wife to Back to the Future. Had she never seen it before?
no, she'd never seen it. Yeah.
What?
And you know, what's funny is I've got like a barrage of people messaging me and responding to this saying, I can't believe that she's never seen it. Okay. For anyone that is raised here, and we're, is it okay to say our state location?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in we're in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is born and bred in Franklin, Tennessee.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
And like a lot of Southern people, especially growing up in the church,
Mm-hmm.
it was the complete antithesis of my upbringing, and that mainly the stuff that they grew up watching was all very wholesome or religious based. And so she didn't discover a lot of mainstream Hollywood until she was a little bit older. Like I'm talking 16, 17 years old.
I can
Like,
relate to that. Yeah.
yeah, fair enough. And I was going to my next question was I was going to ask you, being originally from West Virginia, but coming from that similar background, if you did something similar like that.
Oh man, I didn't see. Not that I sought it out. I didn't see the Terminator until I was in college.
Well, there you go. I couldn't tell you if she has seen the Terminator or not. So
I mean, it's awful.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
awful. I would much rather watch any Die Hard movie.
Oh, for sure.
Than watch the Terminator.
Hands down, absolutely, absolutely. Die Hard is awesome.
Yes.
So anyway, the point here being is that she missed out on a lot of that stuff. That I mean, hell, half of the stuff she doesn't even know she missed out on it. So
That's fair.
We discover stuff all the time that she's never seen. This happened to be the Back to the Future movies happened to be a franchise that she just had no interest in trying to watch and trying to catch up on. And so many people, so many of our friends, and then of course including me, said, "You're really missing out. You have to. This is like a childhood staple." Me, I was nothing was screened for me. I was watching Candyman at like 9 years old. So like I'm completely corrupted. So yeah, I introduced her last night to the first Back to the Future movie, and I'm gonna make her watch all 3, and she loved it.
Yeah. The first one's the best.
It is. I have a special place for all of them, and I've spoken to a few people about this. Some people think that the last movie was stretching out the idea too much. I don't think so. I think it was a great bookend.
It's a continuation of the whole franchise.
Yeah, the first one, you got the past.
Yeah.
Second one, you got the future, and then you got origin story.
Yeah.
That is great, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching the rest of them with her. I love that she loved it. I've never heard her laugh out loud in a movie. She's not the type of person to laugh out loud in a movie, ever.
Yeah.
And there were a
What was
couple
the
of
biggest
moments.
pop moment then?
Oh, I wish I was getting a snack when she laughed. So
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know what it was.
All right.
It was
Yeah, that's
something Doc said. I don't know.
yeah.
Some
There's that
dad.
word again, heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Some dad joke. But yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good time. Yeah, if you're listening, you haven't seen Back to the Future, get your shit together. Go watch a good movie.
Actually, that might have been it, Ike.
Yeah?
When he talks about the what has it got to do with the Earth's gravitational pull? I think
Yeah,
that
is there
was the
something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull in the
I
future?
think that was the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part is when his mom, when Marty's mom, like Calvin Klein.
Yeah. So good.
It's all over your underwear.
It's so good.
That's a good one. Okay, well, anything going on this week for you? Like, how was your week last week? We really didn't get a real big chance to talk. Anything happening? How are your dogs?
My dogs are great. Yeah,
Yeah?
they've caught 2 moles.
There's some good boys.
Yeah, it's just got ridiculous at this point. I'm surprised that any animals even come into our yard anymore. There's something really strange going on in our yard, and I
Okay.
think it might be our surrounding neighbors are using like some type of chemical to do something, because I have found, and my dogs haven't done this. I have found
Okay.
3 dead birds in a week and a half in my yard.
Weird.
One of them was in one of our birdhouses.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It is a bummer, and we need to get to the bottom of this, because if they're using damaging chemicals that could possibly damage my animals too, then there's going to be trouble. But outside of that,
Uh-oh.
outside of that, man, gigs, as you know, are starting to
Yeah.
take back up, and I'm also starting to go out on the road as well as my other stuff. And
Right on, man.
yeah. I don't know if I don't know if I want to do that full time or
Oh,
anything.
come
But
on. I listen. It's something that's inevitable for somebody that's as good as you are. And two, you'll notice that it's just Leigh and I talking. Kyle is a very in-demand dude. He's going to be giving us a killer take later. Kyle's killer take. It's going to be a new segment on the show. He's just getting superbly busy, and we couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah.
All the leftover time that he has, we're happy that he's devoting that to his wife and his daughter. That's super cool. So if you've got a kid out there, pay attention to your kid as much as Kyle does. He's a great dad.
Amen.
Anyway, let's stop putting ourselves over. Let's talk about wrestling.
Oh, wait a second. What about
Wait a second.
you?
What about me? What about me?
I want to talk about your 6-pack.
My 6-pack.
Your 606. I was.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah. So I've been playing on a lot of hip hop stuff. For the past like 4 or 5 years. It's absolutely the wildest ride. And so a friend of mine, his name's Jonathan Smith. We've been playing together since high school. We were both in. Let's see, I was a senior when he was a freshman, and we both played in the show choir band. This dude showed up to our high school, and our show choir director came up to me. She's like, "Hey, I got a new keyboard player. His name's Jonathan. He's going to be great." And I was like, "Okay, cool." This dude sits down and is already full on, like elite level gospel, just insane. I got to sit with that dude in show choir in the high school that I went to. We had 50-minute classes for show choir.
Wow.
So every day I got to sit down with John for like 50 minutes and just watch him play. I attribute a lot of my feel, a lot of my presence, not only to the time that I spent underneath, like my mom is just a phenomenal singer and musician. My dad's an amazing sound engineer. We did a lot of church gigs. That was something in and of itself that's another time. But John is just one of those guys that, he just sits down and just stuff just happens. So we played on the 2 Chainz and Ariana Grande Rule the World, Cordays, I believe it was wintertime.
Amazing.
Just a ton of like really cool, you know, that right there.
And
Like it's right there.
was it Damage? That's
Yeah,
the
hers
picture?
damage.
Yeah.
Good God, that just went platinum.
Yep.
I had seen a couple of people previously post like, "Hey, it's gold," but I didn't see RIAA certified on their website, so I just kind of laid out of it. And then finally, it showed up May 13th. I didn't see it until yesterday, and I was like, "What is life right now? This is so stupid." But yeah, so we decided back in the middle of April, like, man, let's just do a sample pack
Yeah.
and let's just come up with some R&B stuff that, if you want to buy it, great. If you can't afford it, but you still want to create something with it, awesome, do it. So we're putting out a second one. It's going to be like cinematic funk.
See,
Just stuff
that's the
that,
coolest part of it for me, outside of the fact that it's insanely good. The coolest part is that you offer this, pay what you want.
yeah. But I mean, look, I am not at all the biggest first call bass player. I'm not.
You should
And I
be.
probably will never be. And that's okay with me. But what I do want to do is inject people with some sort of feeling to get creative.
Yeah.
There are just there's tons of options out there. If you're looking for cue music or samples or anything, like you go to Splice and just have a field day. I do it too. But I wanted to be able to give something to people that like there are so many kids on not kids, but like players on Instagram that reach out. It's like, hey, what are you working on? What are you doing? I'm like, stop here. Just take it. Play along.
I want to say to anyone listening, not only is Isaac one of the biggest give back people on the planet, he is one of the biggest give back musicians, which is really important to our business.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you pay it forward in so many different ways, and you come up with different ways to pay it forward, like every day, it seems. So
No,
yeah.
it's a front.
Oh.
I really, it's a front. I'm a fraud.
Whatever.
No, I just really think that one of the key things that's missing, at least in outside of hip hop is a huge family business, man. And that's been like the coolest thing. Let's face it, I'm a white guy playing hip hop. Okay. It's not meant for me at all. I get that. Every opportunity I get inside of that genre is an absolute humbling experience.
Yeah.
It means so much for me to be included in that conversation. Even, it's a small fraction of it, but I'm still in it. And I think that's so awesome. And I treat it with the utmost respect. So the only thing I can think of to do is to say, you know what, here's a little bit more of me for you to do whatever you want with.
Cool.
And I've had a couple of people say like, that's a really bad idea. Somebody's going to use that. And then you're out on this. I'm like, so what? I did not expect at all playing for people like Jana Kramer or Chase Bryant or One Weekend with Billy Currington that we'll never talk about. But that's just like, that kind of made sense. But being in hip hop, that makes no sense to me. So I have no choice but to just say, you know what? Here's some more stuff that you guys can use from me. And here you go. But anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about something we can't get enough of. And that's going to be real people watching wrestling so we can actually get some real reactions when King Corbin walks out for another stupid match. So I think that's the first thing we need to talk about is WWE, along with AEW, this past week, announcing that they're going to be doing more live events. We're kicking off, I think, WWE's schedule with SmackDown in Texas, along with, is it after that it's Hell in a Cell, and then it's a Monday Night Raw, all in Texas, right?
I think so. Honestly, I'm actually not sure.
Yeah.
So.
I looked at it this morning because I was kind of like, man, do I want to go to Hell in a Cell?
Ooh.
I thought about it. I thought about it. That's going to be, let me see here. Now, there is a news article that I do want to talk about that they're going to be changing Hell in a Cell. Typically, Hell in a Cell is held in, around like Halloween, like October-ish. but they replaced it. They moved. No, sorry, it's Money in the Bank. That's the first pay-per-view that's coming back, right?
That is correct. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Money in the Bank and then Hell in a Cell. Wait, no, June 20th. They can't have another. They have another one before this.
Yeah. It's okay. So Hell in a Cell is going to be on the 20th of June, right?
Yes.
Money in the Bank is when we're going to have fans back.
Okay, so
That's what it
so
is.
it's after Hell in a Cell. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was going to say
they
they
just
can't.
switched it up.
I know they have so many pay-per-views, but they can't, and they're not even pay-per-views anymore. But they have so many. What are they called? What do you call this?
They call them pay-per-views still.
Why?
I don't know. They're not
super shows or recap shows or.
Yeah, that's something we need to think about, because the only company that's really doing pay-per-views on a big stage and actually making a decent amount of money out of it is AEW. Yeah. But yeah, so they're returning back to live crowds. Man, I'm fully vaxxed and waxed, my friend. I'm ready to kind of go. First off, have a hot date with my wife. But I would love to go to a concert. I'd love to go see pro wrestling. You know, I'm just got this big phobia about it. I think everybody does. Even if you had COVID or if you didn't have, I never had it. I never got it. I haven't had a fever. Gosh, I can't remember the last time I had a fever. I just avoid. Like, I try to eat healthy. I try to get the adequate amount of sleep. I'm outside as much as I can be. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Would you go to a live event or a TV taping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Same.
Yeah, I would.
think everybody else would.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're the type of person that still feels a little wary about it, and my wife certainly does sometimes, like if we go to the grocery store and whatnot, she'll get overwhelmed easily, and I think that's just part of kind of the PTSD of being on your own for so long and isolated. But that's totally fine too. But we're used to being around crowds. That's our livelihood as well, playing in front of crowds. So I think it just comes more naturally for people like us. So I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready. So.
Yeah. Well, we did have some releases in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, especially one person that I don't want to spend too much time on, but I'll just say bye-bye, Drake. Alexander Wolf, Skylar Story, Jessamine Duke, Vanessa Bourne, Kavita Devi, and Ezra Judge. Alexander Wolf was the guy that was in Imperium, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was also, wasn't Alexander Wolf also in the failed what's the thing
exactly
with Eric Young, the crazy.
Oh, when he was carrying the cage thing, was that Eric Young? Who am I thinking of?
Oh,
exactly.
They came out and it was almost like The Purge.
Oh, Sanity.
Sanity, yeah, wasn't that Alexander Wolf in Sanity too?
Possibly.
And then he joined the Imperium. Who knows? But dude, that wasn't all. Did you say Velveteen Dream?
Yeah, I did not say that. Because that's a whole other topic in and of itself. I've heard a lot of people have takes about Velveteen Dream. Because it's alleged, I'm not going to bring any of that up. You had an interaction with Velveteen Dream.
I did. I was wondering.
You did.
I was wondering if you were gonna bring that up.
So
now I can. Now I don't have to feel bad.
Now you can. Now you don't feel bad about it. And let's set the stage. So Leigh has friends in high places. You were able to attend WrestleMania, the Raw after Mania. You went to the WrestleMania after party, which I want to pick your brain about even more.
Went to the NXT takeover before Mania too. That was the one in New Orleans. New Orleans. So, yes. So I don't even remember what night it was. I think it was I think it was Saturday night after Takeover.
Mhm.
We're out on Bourbon Street and in some random bar, and there is Kari Sane, Shayna Baszler, and Ricochet. And now remember that some of these people have been newly signed. You know,
Yeah.
they're
And
not really.
what was the year? This was 2017?
I think so. I'm really bad
Yeah.
with really bad with years. Um, it's the only WrestleMania I've ever been to. So, and yet I can't remember the year.
That
And
was 2018.
2018. Okay, there you
WrestleMania
go.
34.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then, and last but not least, Velveteen Dream. And they're all being very friendly and hanging out. Ricochet was a sweetheart. He was awesome. Shook his hand, and a few of us that were together just complimented all of them. And Kairi Sane was so sweet too. Really cool. They were all really cool. Then it came to Velveteen Dream, who was standing by himself on his phone in the corner. And I want to say like this is gimmicked, but it really isn't. It's not like he's dressed any different. Like he looks like he could be any guy off the street.
Right.
He's just being very antisocial in a bar, which is very strange on Bourbon Street because you know
Yeah, that's kind of the place where you kind of let loose.
yeah, and everybody around is going nuts. So
Right.
I mean, it's everyone's going. It's like being on Broadway in Nashville. It's everyone's shit faced all the time. So he's just he's standing awkwardly, and he's a pretty tall guy, and he's just standing awkwardly on his phone, glued to his phone,
Oh.
while the rest of them are kind of hanging out and chilling with people. Um,
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense. So I just turned to him and said, having seen him um, earlier that evening, um, I turned to him and said, "Hey, I just wanted to say you're great. I really dig your dug your match. I really think you're great, and look forward
Yeah.
to seeing you um, like in the future." He
Mm.
stared daggers through me. He didn't say one word to me. He just
Yeah.
looked right through me and then went right back to his phone. And I thought, in the moment, it's weird. We've grown up watching this business. We want kayfabe. So I thought to myself, in hindsight, maybe this was gimmick. And I've had a few years to think about that. Is
Mm.
maybe he was just trying to stick in his gimmick. But to me, if it was really gimmick, then he probably wouldn't have been out in the first place.
Exactly, yeah.
So I he was just a rude prick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
well, two, I wanna point out the age difference in everybody that you just mentioned. Shayna Baszler at the
mhm,
time was mid-30s.
mm,
Ricochet it would have been late 20s, early 30s.
mm,
So everybody that he was hanging out with was pretty much our age, give or take, right? So we all grew up without a cell phone,
yeah,
right? So we know how to have conversations, and we know what it's like to kind of have people come up to us and want to talk to us, or just general social etiquette, right? Even if, well, for the record, let me go and say Velveteen would have been early 20s when you met him. He's
yeah.
25 right now. He was born in 95.
Wow.
That
I can't even
blows.
I can't even fathom that.
Yeah. So anyway, I to me, when he kind of faded out of the picture on NXT, he was on the main roster for like a hot minute, right? Was that back when the plane didn't show up in Saudi and they had all the NXT people? Didn't he like pop in on Raw that one time?
I couldn't tell you.
He's been on the main roster for a split second, but
Okay.
I just whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know where if he goes anywhere. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of pushback, right?
I
It's
do
just
wanna make a joke right now.
please.
I mean, with his history of accusations of sexual harassment, I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in AEW. So,
Yeah. I wonder if he would get into a feud with Chris Jerichunk. Anyway, okay. Drake Wirtz,
yes.
Drake Younger. You know, I didn't know that he was one of those deathmatch dudes.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I heard that.
I did not know.
A failed
In
deathmatch.
2013, he Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him at 146 of the 500 best singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 2013.
Yeah.
He's held a lot of brass, man. World Tag Team Champion in CZW. He had a better name. Yeah. I,
I think
just,
there needs to. I think there finally. I think this might help with our sanity too. If we can start making a distinction between wrestlers and professional wrestlers.
fair. Yep. Yep. Well, there are a lot of people that are going like, "Oh, it's cancel culture." It's like, no, it's not. It's just the whole cancel culture thing. And this is kind of we're getting out of pro wrestling right now. Which, hey, we're grown adult males in the United States, folks. This is going to creep in at some point.
Mhm.
It's not cancel culture if you're taking care of a cyst, if you're taking care of a cancer. You're getting rid of it. You're getting it out. It's just like, no, I this does not need to be a thing. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Give the person, if they can do it, give the person an opportunity to defend themselves. But if it's just egregious, just misconduct that, look, I don't know everything there is to know about any of that stuff that he was talking about. Possibly. There might be a small fraction of validity to it. Possibly. I don't know.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you can't use company property to put that stuff that's not yours, man.
Bingo.
That's just I don't care what you believe or what you believe in or what you practice. I could care less.
Yeah.
But when you start using other people's property to disseminate that information and propagate all that stuff, that's when it's kind of like, yeah, you didn't see that coming, really. The people that also do that, you didn't see that coming, really.
Mhm.
Another thing that we didn't see coming, so I'm going to get completely out of this subject. There's also something else that we didn't know about. Somebody was using some information, some IP. WWE is being taken to court. Will you smart me up? What is this about?
Okay, I'm gonna pull up this article here because I don't want to get this wrong. Okay,
Okay.
but a report from Heal by Nature
Okay.
states that SITO Mobile Limited filed a lawsuit on 5/21, so very recently, with several alleged counts of patent infringement in regards to its streaming media. The ones named are commonly used by various streaming platforms currently available. Includes court documents that outline the case. Here we go. Here we go. WWE streams videos using a network of networks of servers. WWE uses dynamic adaptive streaming over HTTP or HTTP live streaming protocols to stream video content. Oh, this is very long. This is very, very long. Okay, so the summation is that this company is in many words saying that WWE has used their patented streaming platform ideas to build their own infrastructure, build their own streaming infrastructure, which to me puts a whole new light on them offloading and selling to Universal so fast.
Yeah. To kind of summarize this whole thing, they have 12 patents for technology that helps ensure smooth viewing of video regardless of subscribers' connection speed. Okay, I don't. That right there goes like this, but I kind of
Mhm.
understand it. Right, it goes over my head for
Yeah.
those that are just listening. That always blows my mind. So hear me out. Unless you have, like, I purchased the YouTube Red, the premium thing, and YouTube TV. I'm a big YouTube fan. I've always noticed that sometimes a video is not good at loading, but anytime an ad pops up, it's full on 1080.
Mm.
You know why that happens?
Why?
Because the minute that you launch or go to said website looks at your search history, looks at your cookies, and finds available advertising and starts preloading that advertisement.
Gotcha.
The minute that you load those apps, you're not going to be able to get away from that. I mean, goodness, permission marketing is just astounding. If you are looking for clothing on, let's say, ASOS, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at some T-shirts or some, in your case, a couple weeks ago, some swimming trunks. If you're looking at certain trunks and you do the quick view or you go look at the actual page, the website then says, oh, you're looking for this. So what they do is they start finding alternates that look nothing and are nothing like that, and they bunch those in with things that are similar because they know you're going to look not at those other options, but at the options that you really like. So they actively adjust the storefront. We could be looking at the same website, side by side on our phones, clicking on different options, and if we scroll in our view, it's going to be completely different from one and the other just based off of our activity. What's crazy is if you then leave ASOS and you go to Target, Target reads what ASOS just left behind and they rearrange their store based on what you were just looking at. It's awesome.
Is that? Yeah. I wonder if that's why every site and everything is now asking, and an app is asking your permission to track on other apps now because of.
They're not even asking. They're basically saying, hey, we drop a ton of cookies on your computer. You cool with that? Great, because we were going to do it anyway. If you're not cool with it, then you're not going to be able to do anything here.
That's funny. Yep. Yeah.
I love it. I don't. Well, any other big news stuff? I mean, I did see that Dana Warrior is blasting the producers of Dark Side of the Ring, calling it smut and filth. Yeah.
I mean, we've spoken about the previous episodes, right? They have a different director for each episode, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of them, because we spoke about the little bit, and we've heard on other people's podcasts really dissecting the Randy Savage one, calling it a hit job. I think it's just the fact that when you have a different director for every episode, you're going to get somebody else's take and somebody else's viewpoint. If this was,
it still has to go through the filter. I mean, come on.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, are they writing it? Are they writing the script, the layout for the show? I don't think so.
I don't know. I haven't watched one yet. The main thing that I tried watching the Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring, and I just I'm still not in a good headspace to kind of wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
That very tragic story, and just looking at his ex-wife or his late wife, that's brutal, man. I'm glad though that Brian Pillman Jr. And this speaks to me personally as well. Kind of went and said, you know what, bump this. I can't not have a relationship with my mom, regardless of everything that's happened. I can't not do that. And I think that's beautiful. Being able to kind of step aside and get that out of the way. Yeah. Any other?
Well, a couple other things. Before we get into the more lighthearted news items.
Okay.
I want to send out, if he ever hears it, I probably never hear it, but Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows what's going on. We just know that he was suddenly taken off television and he's alluded to some health issues. And the last interaction he had with a fan on Twitter was pretty much him saying, time will tell what his future will hold. I really hope that everything's okay. Even if we never see him back in a ring, he was a tremendous talent. And even if that was his his flame, that it was a short flame in the wrestling business. I hope that he lives a happy a happy, long, healthy life,
Sure.
regardless of his professional wrestling career. And I hope that this is not something super, super serious.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just wish him the best,
Okay.
because that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He was he's one of the great big mans,
Yeah.
and just, the interaction that he had with Brock Lesnar, maybe they're waiting for Brock to be back to put him in a program with Brock, right?
Maybe
That'd be fun.
would be fun. I hope
It'd be
so. I
super
hope that's
fun.
what it is. I hope that's what it is for sure. Yeah.
Any other big news?
Yeah, there's a few things, a little more lighthearted. Let's do The Rock. The Rock lands another DC Comics movie role. He not only is
Oh
he
wow.
not only is he working on Black Adam, but he's going to be voicing a canine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
awesome.
Animated, yeah, absolutely. I
Well,
can't.
that means he can be in the ring.
He could.
Why not? If he's doing voiceover
Oh,
work, you
yeah,
don't have to be
good
walking.
point. Once he's done with the other stuff, that's true. Not like he doesn't stop working, but I agree. He very much could that. Maybe that's his way of taking a break from the music, from the movie industry.
Yeah, just doing voice. $7 production is going to be producing it too.
Yeah, I know.
That's good night, man.
Who knows
The
what's going to
clout
happen?
this guy has is just insane.
I hope that he saves DC, the DC universe.
I hope that he saves Vince.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
You know what he said? I saw a post of his on Instagram the other day, and he said something that really put everything in perspective. And it was an offhanded comment in the middle of one of his massive essay posts. And he said something about it was a clip of him wrestling Triple H, and he said, back when I wrestled 300-pound men for a living, or something like that, some offshoot comment like that. And I thought, wow, how the industry has changed. The way he said that comment was like, that's what wrestling was. 300 men going to battle. 300 pound men going to battle. It is not that anymore.
No.
And that's one of the big things that I miss about wrestling, is that it's so hyper focused on little guys now that it's taken me out of it. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, let's draw the comparison then, right? Sean and Brett.
Right.
You know? I mean, Sean and Yoko were pretty much the same height.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
The only person that was really big that I can remember in those days that was at that main event level was Taker.
Mm-hmm. Hulk Hogan.
Obviously. Well, Hogan, yeah. I'm just thinking about the Attitude Era. Mabel was huge. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been that way for a while. It's just,
well, I'm talking about
the
300
Finn Balor side. Yeah,
yeah, I was talking about 300-pound men, like them,
right.
like The Rock, like Triple H, like I mean, even Stone Cold, even if he was like 275 at one point, I know that they were roided up, but man, those guys they're just big dudes, and that's what I meant. It's like the Gladiator, Goliath, like warriors, and now it's just like.
Well, we got Drew McIntyre, we got Lashley. I mean, we've got some big. We got Omos. Elias is a big guy. But all those people that I just said outside of AJ Styles, we Kevin Owens is a big guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a pretty big dude. He's a stout guy.
Okay, fair enough. I'd love to see his.
He's 6 foot even, right? But he weighs 266.
A lot of that's in his gut, wouldn't you say?
Send it. man. I mean, out
fair
of
enough,
all
fair
the
enough.
people, that's believable. And like
Yeah.
even the promo, and we'll talk about it a little bit. The promo that he cut on SmackDown before we had another Roman segment. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see KO in the main event.
Yeah.
I just there are so many people that are on the sidelines right now that really need to be
Yeah.
controlling the airwaves. Anything else for news?
Let's see. Anything else that's actually important? Dum, 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 dum. I think you put this down here. Another John Cena possibly returning to WWE soon. I know we talked about that last week. Is this anything new? Is it another update?
Well, return is still being discussed for the first show back in front of crowds, which would be the July 16th SmackDown from the Toyota Center in Houston. I, you know, I think it would be awesome to have somebody like Cena have the virgin crowd, right?
Mm.
Or somebody that we don't expect, like an Aleister Black.
Yeah.
I that's going to be a big spot. Who gets the first entrance out? Because it's not going to be Bobby Lashley. It's not going to be Drew McIntyre. It's going to be SmackDown. Is it going to be Roman?
Yeah.
Who do you book to come out? Whose entrance music hits first in Houston?
Yeah.
That's a good debate. And who wrestles the first main event back in front of people? Right?
We got to go.
WrestleMania
We got to go now. We have to go.
I mean, part of me kind of wants to go to Raw, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I can talk Molly into let me take her Alfa Romeo. Yeah, I think that would be. Who would you put out first, right? If somebody said, "Here are the keys," who's coming out first, and who would you have in the main event on SmackDown?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I mean, they're in Texas, glass breaking.
Oh no, I don't see that ever happening.
You don't think? Well, no, I'm not saying he was going to wrestle.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just saying like they play the entrance music and they're panning the crowd from the bird's nest, and then you hear.
Oh, for sure. So I thought you meant as far as working with John Cena.
No. Just
yeah. Of
Austin
course.
comes out, glass breaks. He does all four corners, and as soon as he grabs the mic, everybody's cheering. Then you hit John Cena's music.
See, that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, the goosies.
Yeah,
I'm getting the goosies.
I got it. Yeah, that would be killer.
Oh my goodness!
What a way to kick off fans like back into touring too.
And then you know what happens? Ooh. They stand off in the middle of the ring.
And then
no chance. That's what you got.
There you go.
And then Vince comes out strutting that ass.
Bust both his quads. Yep.
Poor guy. Oh goodness. Well, okay.
Yeah. Last but not least, I'm just gonna say, in things that might not matter. See that stuff matters to me. This next thing I want to talk about, it seems completely pointless, and the WWE.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah. The WWE are set to reintroduce the $1 Million Championship, which is, I guess, where this whole, when we'll get into it later on NXT, on our NXT review, I guess where the whole Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase feud, if you want to call it that, has been going. I don't get it. Like, what is that going to mean anything? How is it going to mean anything to anybody?
They're trying to get Cameron Grimes over. I don't know.
Are they gonna play chess for it? It's not like they're gonna fight for it.
Somebody gonna get their taxes or their financial records audited by the state of New York,
right?
That's a bad one. Right. Hey, did you see where Kenny Omega took some shots at Jim Ross?
No.
So on Grilling JR, JR said, I don't think anybody is better than Randy Orton in the wrestling business.
I did see that.
And he said, I'm sure there's Kenny Omega fans out there that would say Omega's the best wrestler in the world. Some will, and they got the right. That's their opinion, and I'm not going to argue it. Key right there. He's not going to argue it. But Omega is really freaking good. In any event, it's a good time to be a fan. He says that a lot on his podcast.
Yeah.
And I got some stuff to bring up about that later. But Omega then sends out a tweet after Jericho posted, in my opinion, Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world today. Others may feel differently, but I've been in the ring with everybody currently working on top, and there's nobody close. That's why Kenny is the AEW champ, the most protected title in the biz. It's impossible to argue. Kenny Omega then tweets, meh, I'd rather believe the bigot, cuck, dimwit, E-drones and the guy that thinks I'm the WWE champion.
The guy that thinks I'm the WWE champion.
Well, Jim Ross on one episode of AEW Dynamite called Kenny Omega the WWE champion.
like a slip because it's
not,
muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, speaking of muscle memory, we're going to talk about this week's shows very very quickly. Okay. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick potty break because I've drank about 4 cups of coffee since we started.
Oh, I got to catch up. I'm going to go get another one.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Bye. All right, and we're back. Thanks for sticking with us here. We're going to start talking about Raw. First, we want to tell you the ratings for Raw. Last week, they had 1.817 million people watch. This week, 1.823, and we don't know why. This was the first Raw after WrestleMania Backlash. By the way, I've had a lot of time to think about the whole zombie thing. Did you see Dave LaGreca's hot take? Did you hear it?
Honestly, no, I didn't. I mean, I can only imagine what it is. He probably yelled a bunch.
He lost his damn mind.
Yeah, and probably said "bully, bully" a bunch of times. And he sounds like a.
I don't even think Bully was on the show. I think it was Tommy Sleeper, Tommy Dreamer. Sorry. Yeah. Anything catch your eye with this show?
Nope.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know. Again, I'm waiting for Kyle's take on it because honestly,
well, I tell you what. Let's do that. Let's start this whole section with Kyle's killer take, and here you go.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's another Kyle recap via voice notes. I'm sorry I can't be there again this week. But yeah, this was my week to do Raw and SmackDown. And I really don't have any 1, 2, 3 counts. I don't have any tap outs. I don't have any on the ropes. I just have general thoughts and theories. Because going through Raw, I honestly realized, and this is not to jump on the bandwagon of, you guys or the fan consensus in general about Raw the past, 6 months or Raw the entire time that the pandemic has been going on, but I just don't care about the show anymore. Like if I was at a live event right now and I saw pretty much any superstar from Raw, their music hit, they walk down the aisle, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I just honestly don't. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, that whole scene, everything just feels just very, I don't know. There's not really a big fight feel to anybody.
He's right.
On that roster right now. You go to SmackDown and you have Roman Reigns, you have Seth Rollins, and Cesaro, which, I'll get to Cesaro in a second. But yeah, there's just nothing about Raw that I'm super, super tuned into these days. I want to like Alexa Bliss and what she's doing. Same. I want to see her in the ring, though. Hopefully, all this stuff is leading to her coming back and wrestling. I know that she's had a bunch of concussions and injuries and all that stuff, but I just want to see Alexa Bliss back in the ring. And hopefully, all this stuff with, the swing set and the doll and Lily and all that stuff, hopefully that's going to have a good payoff. And, you can argue that she's been one of the best parts about that show, but, you know, that's only saying so much. You know, like, I think she's a tremendous actress. I think she's doing the best with, you know, she's doing the best, like, with what she can do with what they're giving her, if that makes any sense. But, yeah, I mean, like, the whole just Raw show, and, I mean, like, in all honesty, it's just really daunting to just know, oh, shit, this show is 3 hours long. And, like, especially if you're watching it live, like some people do, I just, you know, I mean, like, if I see something 3 hours long, you know, like, it better be damn good. You know, like, it better keep my attention for most of it, but Raw just hasn't done that. And it's just, you know, sad to see Raw pretty much be moved to the B show, which, you know, like, I think, you know, like, in this day and age with SmackDown on Fox, you know, like, obviously SmackDown is the A show right now. You know, like, there's, you know, people out there that just keep saying, oh, well, I mean, like, Raw's still Raw, you know, like, they're gonna blah, 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 but it just really hasn't shown. And plus, I mean, like, I don't know if they're, you know, just putting all their eggs into the SmackDown basket right now with no fans, because on Raw they can be like, oh, well, we can pump in our own cheers and boos and we can just throw shit at the wall and see what happens. But man, it's just so painful watching that sometimes, you know. And speaking about that, you know, throwing things up against the wall, like having their own cheers and boos piped in still, like until July, because what they announced, you know, this past week, that they're going to go back on the road and all that stuff, which is great. You know, like, I'm curious to see if on SmackDown, if the crowd is going to be into Cesaro as much as, you know, they're pushing him, which, you know, throughout this whole pandemic, the WWE or AEW or just pretty much anybody has had the luxury of, man, we can just throw these people out there that we think, I mean, like, that we know are workhorses, but they just really don't have a great character that the audience can connect to, and we can pipe in our own cheers, we can pipe in our own boos, and for right now we can do that. I'm curious to see if the fans are going to be into Cesaro, if they're going to be into, like, the Natty Neidhart Tamina Snuka thing as much as, you know, like, they're piping in all that stuff for, you know, or if they're going to walk out that first show with fans and it's going to be crickets, which, like, I don't think it is, because, you know, like, I just think any WWE fan is going to be pumped to be back at a show, and they're going to cheer for no matter what. Now, like, honestly, the real test, and I think this is true also in the music industry, is in about 6 months when the, you know, like, the honeymoon phase is going to wear off of fans being back, and then you'll actually get to see who's truly over or not. But yeah, Raw, I just don't care about. SmackDown, man. Dude, Roman Reigns, I mean, like, people can poo-poo on him, like, whatever else, but I'm just glad we're seeing this side of Roman Reigns. And Leigh, Isaac, I can't remember which one of you guys sent that Instagram post that he made about what, Jim Uso or Jey Uso, like, the one that came back, and he was on the, like, the Stairmaster or the elliptical or whatever else, saying, don't call me, don't text me, just, I'll get to you on my show on SmackDown on Sunday. Yep. Dude, he's unbelievable. I'm honestly wondering what his future looks like. Actually, my 3 count for both shows, who gives a shit? My 3 count for WWE is Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I'm just curious to see how his future is going to look. Because, man, dude, he is unbelievable. I don't know if he wants to get into acting like Cena, like Batista, like The Rock. But, man, they just need to ride him until the wheels fall off. And obviously, you know, like, I don't see anybody taking that title off of him until next WrestleMania. And if it does happen, man, kudos to the WWE, because, you know, like, I think aside from maybe Brock Lesnar having it for a while, you know, like a couple years ago, it's like, man, I just don't see a threat to Roman Reigns unless The Rock comes back, unless Brock Lesnar actually comes back. So, yeah, I mean, like, I guess my 3 count for all of WWE is Roman Reigns, and just even the work he's putting in on social media. But yeah, Raw, I just can't get into it. It's just so daunting. 3 hours, geez. I wish Raw was back to 2 hours, but I know USA has nothing else going on. Well, oh, dude, like reruns of Burn Notice and reruns of Suits, like La Femme Nikita from back in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, man.
But man, yeah, Raw. I just don't care about that show. SmackDown, Roman Reigns. I love Seth Rollins, even though he's playing like the really, terrible Instagram influencer with the drip going on. But I kind of miss, cocky Triple H Seth Rollins a little bit too. But man, Raw, SmackDown, just give me more Roman Reigns. And yeah, they're going to ride him until the wheels fall off. And I'm pumped for crowds to come back and for him to be in front of people. I think that's going to be great. And recapping like what I said before, I'm curious to see if the fans are going to accept Cesaro for how much they're pushing him, with the whole Roman Reigns thing. So, yeah, guys, missed you again this week, but hopefully I will be back on soon. I love both you guys. And Leigh, I can't wait for you to bury my review, or I guess lack of review, just thoughts and theories on the WWE product right now. So, hit me up, guys. I love the Trolling the Territory universe. I'll talk to y'all next week.
See ya. Okay. Well, look, I don't know what else to say to that. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, firstly, I'm going to disappoint him again.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going to bury him. I'm not going to bury his review. In fact,
no.
I think that was kind of perfect. So Kyle, that was awesome. I also love how we talk to you. We respond to you in your your
listen,
I love that.
Full disclosure, I hadn't listened to it yet.
No, neither had I.
And that was super fun. I don't think I'm ever gonna when he does this killer take. I'm not gonna listen to it until we play it on the air.
I think that's great.
Okay, let's go through right now. Since we're talking about WWE, let's talk about current champions.
Because he brings up a couple good points as well that I would love to talk to about. But let's do. I
want to start with the state of the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
WWE champion, which this is just Raw, is Bobby Lashley. Raw Women's champion is Rhea Ripley. Mm-hmm. United States champion is Sheamus. Raw Tag Team champions are AJ Styles and Omos. Right?
Yeah.
SmackDown. Roman Reigns is the Universal Champion. He's held that title for 264 days. SmackDown Women's Champion is Bianca Belair. Apollo Crews is the Intercontinental Champion. And Rey and Dominic Mysterio are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I got a fun fact for you about Rey Mysterio. Did you know that he won his Tag Team Championship at the same age as his son?
His first one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty neat. There is a pro wrestling statistics Instagram page that is just fantastic.
Amazing. Or I'll have to check this out.
Yeah. Pro wrestling statistics is the Instagram handle. Here's a fun fact. Roman Reigns won 90.6% of his matches in 2020, only losing 3. But the 3 he lost weren't by pinfall or submission, so Roman Reigns did not suffer a clean loss at all in 2020. Another fun fact last night, and this was about SmackDown. Last night was the first time Cesaro main evented Backlash main evented a WWE pay-per-view match on a one-on-one.
Wow.
Roman Reigns is undefeated in AEW.
That's good. That's like the Blake Bortles facts on Twitter.
So, what are your thoughts?
It's fascinating the things that Kyle brought up about Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown being the obvious A show to the viewer, right, and yet Raw was the only show that went up in viewership last week. Everything else went down.
I wonder why.
I don't know. We all wonder why.
Well, could it be that Fridays are starting to be a little bit more busy?
Because people are
human
going
beings?
back out. Fair enough. You know what? That's actually a really obvious. You're right. You're absolutely right. I can't believe I didn't think about that. People are starting to go back out again.
Only less than 100,000 of them went out.
Yeah.
Right. Last week, SmackDown saw 1.9. This week they saw 1.83. Last week, Raw had 1.817. This week, they had 1.823. NXT gained some viewers this week. Last week, they had 697. This week, they had 700,000.
Yeah.
AEW lost 108. Well over 100,000 people did not tune into AEW this week. And good God, was there valid reasons for them not doing that? I want to add to something that Kyle said. He was talking about Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
I really hope there's some sort of payoff with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
There's still a massive cliffhanger as to what exactly happened at Mania. We got a little bit of a there's something coming with Bray. I hope the thing isn't true that he's suffering with mental health issues.
I think it was
that?
debunked. I think that was
Okay.
a rumor that was debunked. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I hope he's enjoying time with his wife and has he got 2 kids now, or is it just one?
Yeah, I think he has 2 kids. I'm pretty sure, or maybe she's pregnant with the second. I wish I knew. I know that they had a kid not too long ago, so I'm not sure if that's the first or the second between the two of them.
He's got 4 kids.
Oh,
Excuse
wow.
me.
Okay.
Here's a sidebar. And I kind of want to make this into a segment. Other podcasts to listen to, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin had a 2-parter with Bray Wyatt that came out last week, parts 1 and parts 2. This Stone Cold shares a story about entrance music, and this was back when I don't know if Bray had turned into the Fiend yet or not.
Okay.
But they were talking about the Fireflies and the entrance music and picking out his entrance music, Bray Wyatt. And he was like, at one point at NXT, they had an all call and they said, hey, where everybody's getting new music, here's a new library, pick out your songs. And he said, most people listen to the first, 15 seconds of a generic, song, and then they took it. And he was like, it took me a couple of weeks to find the right song. And then we found it. And then I, linked up with the person who wrote it and we added to it and whatnot. And then Steve Austin talks about how he brought Killing in the Name of by Rage to Jim Johnson and said, I want something like that. And Bray was just like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that, man. That's pretty cool. That's a good listen.
Okay.
Steve Austin's show with Bray Wyatt. But yeah, I want to see Alexa Bliss do something. I like this. I like the idea of us getting something with Bobby Lashley, like some sort of big payoff. I'm just getting tired of him going up at the same people. I mean, is there no one else that he can feud with?
Well, wasn't it Kofi Kingston this week?
Yeah. Well, Kofi's on Raw. That would be great.
Well, he was this week.
Yeah.
He went up against him.
Right.
I'm
just saying, outside of look, we've had Kofi Mania.
Oh, you mean someone brand new?
Someone brand new.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it, I would love that.
Yeah.
Except we get Angel friggin' Garza and Drew Gulak.
Wow.
Yeah, I just, I mean, Randy Orton, he's being wasted away. I mean, look, I love the Riddle thing. I think it's growing on me.
Come on, it is growing on, right?
It's growing on me.
Yeah.
I just, I think Not Sam was talking to Sam Roberts was talking to Peter Rosenberg, which Cheap Heat. I can't put that podcast over enough. That's a good listen. Peter Rosenberg is hilarious. But they were talking about how it would be kind of neat if Riddle, this whole elevation of Riddle with Randy, that gets split and it ends up being Riddle and Bobby Lashley, or Riddle and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Or some, I was like, oh, yeah, it's not bad, but nothing on this show did anything for me.
Same.
All right.
Honestly, same. Yeah. It's crazy. And to double back on Kyle's points about he just brought up one person, that's Cesaro, just to see if real fans being in the building, they're going to get the reaction that they've been piping through their system.
Oh yeah.
This goes for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think they know at all. Judging on ratings, judging on social media interaction, I don't think they have. I think they've lost after a year of this, over a year of no fans. I'm not sure that they know who, outside of maybe Roman Reigns, and I don't even when I say Roman
That's going to
Reigns,
be a reaction.
it's a
Pointless.
reaction. We
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be boos or cheers at this point, but
They care about it.
that they care about it. Yeah. Outside of that, who knows?
Yeah. That's a slippery slope, man. That's that's like a dress rehearsal gone bad. And like I would think that a lot of it would be they're wanting to train the audience as to what is expected, which is also dangerous because they don't dictate how that works.
Right.
The fans do. So I can't wait for the fans to get back so they can just boo the living mess out of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's just move. Are you cool to move on to NXT?
Yeah.
This is another show. This is the first time I've ever watched NXT in the pre-post current pandemic. I saw the first couple of episodes of it. I'm like, this is not at all for me. I can't do it. I wrote in my notes, I'm already regretting signing up to watch NXT Dark Elevation, whatever this. First match was Tony Storm and Zoe Stark. It's just not. It wasn't for me. There were several moments where they were hitting each other with forearms. And okay, wait, hang on. Here's the thing that blows my mind and really, really bums me out about NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and this happens in AEW too, but it's on a bigger stage. It's in an open room. It's just like the pro wrestlers entrance thing.
Yeah.
That's been happening now. It's so marked, man. It's like watching a phenomenal country band. They all have their spots, right? That's a thing. That's being a performer. That's what happens. You know your spots. You know when everybody comes down to the front, whatever. With wrestling, it's just getting so stupid. No one comes to the ring ready to kick some ass.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a spot on the center of the stage. It's the spot with the arms, and then it's the look, and then it's the walk down the aisle, then it's the stop at the steps. Then they get in the ring. Everybody wipes their feet. They all enter the ring, and they do some kind of spin. They either go to the ropes, or they go to the middle of the ropes, and then they look around, and then they start standing and looking at the entrance ramp.
Yeah. But
every single one of them.
Tell me, am I not wrong? It's more apparent in NXT than any other show, though.
It's apparent in AEW, big time.
It is, and I'm not going to include it just because AEW is kind of all over the place, as we know. The reason I pick on NXT when it comes to that specifically that you bring up is it's one of the main things that sets it apart as developmental for me. It makes me think that people backstage are saying, hey, this is what you do. Everybody has to do it this way. You know, it's a training. Yeah. It's training. That's what it is.
Well, don't let it look like training. I mean, later in the night we get a segment with the Hit Factory or whatever it's called, Hit Row, and even that was just. Ugh. But Tony Storm and Zoe Stark, the announcers tried to do their best to explain what the hell was going on, but it wasn't enough to get me invested. Their announce team, they do a great job. They on NXT, they really try to get it together. But Tony Storm wins the match, and Aya Smith is the referee. I want to bring this up. Aya Smith was the referee for this match. She is the first full-time Black female referee for WWE.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Super awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Love that.
Yeah.
Tap out of this whole show, outside of the entire show, was after Tony Storm wins the match. Frankie Monet is on the entranceway in a multicolored romper with their dog. Don't care. Don't care. This whole thing where they introduce new talent by just having them show up
Yeah.
and parade like they did with what's her face?
Oh,
I can't remember her name anymore.
Lacey.
Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
That does nothing. Come out there and beat somebody's ass. Don't parade around with your pooch.
Well, I don't care. It goes back to not being about fighting anymore. You know, the wrestling business. Yeah.
Well, that's fighting was the entertainment. Entertainment is not entertaining.
Yeah.
Doing something that I can't personally do and settling a score the way I wish I could. That's entertaining.
Oh, man, you just gave me chills. Thank you. You know,
that's the truth. I'll say it again. I'll say it again in a cleaner way, just so we can bounce it to Instagram. This is not entertainment. World Wrestling Entertainment is not entertainment, because it used to be that someone had a score to settle. They were wrong. They were cheated. They wanted to advance. They wanted to make more money. Something that I could relate to. And they could do it in a way that I couldn't. Steve Austin could come out and flip his boss off. The Rock could come out and make fun of someone who may or may not have been tougher than him and make fun of him publicly really well. Had the gift of gab. He could put him down. Now we have someone who has been really repackaged, and not that far, not that long ago did she get a repackage, or she was still wrestling as a different name. Now she's coming out with a fucking dog. Why should I care? That's not go away heat. I'm changing the channel. I'm not giving this another chance heat.
You know what it is?
Please tell me.
This is it's reality TV.
Well, unfortunately, yes, because they think. Sorry to burst your bubble, WWE, NXT, AEW, every promotional bullshit company right now. I'm not following you on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I got plenty of money to spend, and it's not going to be on you. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm watching it because I want you to make me watch it.
Yeah.
That's how sick this relationship is, pro wrestling. I'm watching you because I want something to happen. I'm not watching you because shit's happening. I'm watching because I'm like, God, I would really like it if Kenny Omega would just backhand one of the Young Bucks and get in their face and say, don't you ever talk to me that way ever again. You know your place. Your place is behind me, not in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do something like that. But no, we're going to sit in a limousine and Nakazawa's going to honk the horn and everybody's going to pee themselves.
Yeah. Hot take from Ike. Ike takes. Ike
takes.
You know what's really funny is when we started this podcast, you and I have disagreed on a lot of stuff. But I feel our opinions like coming to a parallel like over the last few weeks. We're really saying a lot of the same stuff now, which is crazy because I thought when we started this podcast that you and I were going to get into it, but we've agreed on so much.
Well, look, I'll try my best to play devil's advocate as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because even though, like, God, I kind of want to take this to a different place, but I'm going to save that take for another day when it's more relevant. But I'm always going to try, just as the way I was raised, right? A very loud, arguing, constantly household.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, well, let me hear what the other person has to say, because I can't stand and let this abuse happen without understanding why the abuse is happening to begin with.
Yeah.
So I can put myself in Tony Khan's shoes a little bit, right? As far as like forecasting for something, okay? I'm not saying that I'm as wealthy as Tony Khan or have as much influence. I'm not saying that at all. But as far as wrestling goes, and we're gonna jump straight, like NXT, whatever, man. My 1 count was Hit Row. My 3 count was Bronson and Gargano. If you want to watch a match from NXT, go watch that match. Everything else on that show was just, I didn't have time for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I can kind of jump into AEW's mentality because they desperately want it to work. And I'm proud of them, as we all should be. We should be proud of everybody that's on the roster. At the same time, just because you're out there doing it doesn't mean that you get to get treated with the gold star because you are doing it. Just showing up is the first step. You got to give me something. Do you want me to pay money? Isn't there a pay-per-view coming up with NXT or AEW here pretty soon?
Yeah, Double or Nothing.
Exactly, right? AEW, here's a fun fact for you. You know how many times I've bought your damn pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Zero. I would love to give you the $50.
Yeah.
I would really love to. But guess what? You're not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why you're not worth it. I don't believe in anything that you're doing. I didn't believe you guys wasted Sting. You're wasting Taz. You're wasting Jake Roberts. You're wasting Chris Jericho, even though he is wasting himself. You had the opportunity. Yeah, you're signing TV deals. Yeah, you're getting, hundreds of thousands of people watching you. Great. Some chick on Twitch that's wearing a tank top and you can see through her shirt, she's got 50,000 people in there for 6 hours. You know what they're doing? They're making her a millionaire. Is that right? Is that wrong? No, but people are into that, so that's the kind of thing those people like.
Yeah.
Sure. Wrestling right now is really just a Stockholm syndrome. We're trying to find something that is just remotely like what we used to watch in the 90s.
Yeah.
This is not it. We're getting there. We're getting so close. That's where I have the faith. That's where I can relate to somebody like Tony Khan. At some point, he's going to strike that nerve. He's going to do something. That team is going to do something. But they have to get out of the growing pains right now. They're establishing the big stars. That's how I feel it right now. They're establishing these really big stars, and they're slowly bringing people in to elevate them.
Sure.
The thing that pisses me off the most is, Brian Pillman Jr. Getting this out of nowhere tag team championship spot. Let's. Are you good with skipping NXT from what we've already talked about? I don't.
Yeah, honestly, I just read. I'm reading. Just to pull back the curtain a bit, I'm reading your summation. Comments, and I agree with them. I like that you put hit row ! Let's go. I agree with what you said. They'll be good in a couple of years as long as they don't.
They will be.
Yep,
they will be, and there's a high probability that WWE or creative at NXT is going to bury them. Don't care about Robert Stone.
Nope.
I don't understand why Johnny Gargano, or not Johnny Gargano, but Tommaso Ciampa's in a tag. This is, like I said, this is the first time I've watched NXT in a minute.
Yeah.
It's completely new. Like it's like the High School Musical version of WWE.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can't watch it. I feel bad for Finn Balor.
Yeah. I was going to say, you didn't even touch that in any of your notes. You didn't even say anything about Karrion Kross or Finn Balor.
All they did was show me a package about how like they had a match and shit went wrong or shit went right. It's like, okay, cool. Like if that's your biggest name, you can't have like even something more than that, man. Free tapes are just so dumb.
But I'll say the same thing that you said. You wrote, and aptly so, I don't want to spoil the Bronson versus Gargano match. Just watch it. And I will say that was fun. That was a fun match, and Bronson deserves that win. That was great.
You just spoiled.
Oh, well, I mean, at this point, everybody knows what happened. I thought you meant
I'm sure they do.
Spoil the details of it. Yeah.
Copy. All right.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, I think everybody knows what the result.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I don't want to. We don't need to spoil the details of the match. Just watch it because it was fun. But
it was
like the entire rest of the show didn't need to happen.
No, it didn't need to happen. I will say this one production fact. I am a big fan of the music that plays whenever the Hell in a Cell is lowering down in an arena or a cage. Yeah, dude, that's so fun. Did you see how the steel cage falls down in the NXT Capitol Wrestling Center?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't notice this at all.
Bro, this is so cool. It's like some Transformer shit. So the you can't see this visually. So you're familiar with how a steel cage is, right? It surrounds the ring apron and it goes up, right? So here, I'll use my phone. So if this is the side of the ring, right, with the cage on it, the cage was up like this, like what is that, a 45-degree angle, and then it just folds down.
Oh.
And just sits on the side of the ring. That was the coolest thing. And they were doom, 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 as it was falling.
Cool.
Oh, it was so dope. That was one fun production thing.
That's awesome. All right.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I agree with you on all of it.
All right. Well, let's talk about AEW.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
Oh, man. Lay it on me, brother.
Listen, if NXT is... is awful, and the training school and the reality training school for WWE, then all Dynamite is, all AEW is to me, is NXT where the wrestlers mark out for themselves.
Can we go back to NXT 2 seconds?
Yeah, of course.
NXT Tag Team Champions who never got a Chiron. I don't know who the fuck they are, but they're at a spa. And somebody comes up, the girl there, she's got her card. She's like, hey, your card is declined. And the tag team champion was like, why? She was like, she's like, I'll just run it again. And she was like, I did it a couple of times. And the credit card company told me that you have an unpaid purchase. And starts explaining the details about said purchase. A credit card company would never give details about purchases to a vendor requesting payment on why it was declined.
Yeah.
You get maybe 6 different error codes in processing.
Yeah.
The only thing that she would have been told was do not honor. If you're grown and you're watching NXT, you want to... that is so... why would you do that? That's so stupid.
But that's the thing, is they want to be in their own creative bubble where they write their own realities. You know, that's everything. That's everything on WWE TV, to be honest. And
yeah.
I will say AEW does a little bit better job of that. Barely. Yeah. But they do a little bit better job. Though some of their storylines are still ludicrous to me, which we'll get to. But yeah, that's
much so.
That's the thing is pro wrestling is now just stupid, based in reality. It's not based in reality anymore. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay,
so
God. All right.
This is my first time reviewing AW. Usually I'll just kind of skim through it and watch it. So I was kind of looking forward to doing that.
Right on.
I was. Maybe I got a bad week.
I think we all... This was just a shit week in wrestling.
Maybe.
It really was. I think everybody was more focused on the deals that were going on outside of the ring than they were actually writing TV. It's like it's starting to get hot everywhere, and I think people were just like, "What do you want to do this week?" I don't know. Bobby Lashley beats Drew McIntyre again. Oh, perfect. Let's do that.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was still cool to see Kofi Kingston in the ring with Bobby Lashley. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but when my favorite segment, when my 3 count for the show involves Jon Moxley, it's a bad show. So,
ooh. All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna start at the beginning, and I'm gonna give you more props here just for a second.
Okay.
Each week we end up talking more about AEW, and now I understand why.
Okay.
It's not always because anyone thinks it's better. God knows it's not better. It's
right.
because it's new, and there's so much insanity going on that you got to try and cover it all.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of promos on this show. This was promo show. This is promo school. That's where we're at this week. I'm just gonna start from the beginning. My one count was Christian Cage defeating Matt Seidel, Evan Bourne,
Seidel.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It took him 12 minutes to defeat this cruiserweight.
I gotta stop looking at your notes. I popped my ass.
What the hell? I mean,
wasn't Christian a cruiserweight champion anyway?
Oh no, he wasn't. Really?
I think he was.
So he was a cruiserweight champion and he was a world heavyweight champion?
He was the ECW champion in WWE.
He was also world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And he's been an intercontinental champion and obviously tag champ. I mean, I know that he was never the biggest guy, but he was always they at least considered him big enough to hold those titles.
He was the light heavyweight champion.
The light heavyweight. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, when that was a thing. Okay. Before they completely denigrated the title and called it cruiserweight. Yeah. So that took me out of it from the beginning. I like Christian. Like I do think that he puts on good matches. They're entertaining for people that are looking for a good wrestling match. But I don't believe Matt Seidel. Nothing he does looks like it's gonna hurt. He's tiny. It's just not. It's not convincing. It would be more convincing if he was in other tag matches, which he does with his brother, where they're wrestling other small guys. But then I would probably be taken out of that too, because there's too much of that going on.
Right.
I don't see why we had to have this match. Like, there are plenty of other guys on the roster that Christian could be fighting right now. Anyway,
let me interject there.
Okay.
Why?
Why
would Christian be fighting anybody else?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no reason why he's fighting Matt Seidel. So why can't we put somebody else in his place that is a bit more his stature, that is a bit more believable? That's what I'm saying. If there's no reason already.
Well, here's where I'm going to take the side of AEW and why that was a smart move for Matt Seidel to be in the ring with him. A lot of people had issue with Christian and Matt Seidel having an interaction last week, the week prior, I should say, because Seidel was acting like a heel towards Christian Cage. Cody and other EVPs of AEW have said, well, we don't have baby faces and heels. We just have characters.
Okay.
Right. I'm kind of for that in a way when it comes down to the ring, right? The in-ring psychology, that I think that's what kind of proves the point that you don't need to have a true babyface and a true heel. If you can have a good match that has good psychology where somebody's doing babyface things, somebody's doing heel things, there's a struggle, there's a body part, like all of those things that we keep hearing from our elders. I'm not using terms trying to be smart. I'm using the terms that the people that are smart are using. So fuck off, JR. I'll say what I want. So to me, it makes sense that somebody like Matt Seidel, who is kind of in the rankings at Christian Cage's level, to advance Christian Cage even more, to kind of bring him up the card and take him on a tour of people that aren't at that level. He does not need to be wrestling Miro. He does not need to be wrestling Darby Allin. He doesn't need to be wrestling Brian Cage. Christian Cage should be wrestling folks like that. I would love to see Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. I think that would be a good match. So I think this is just a way to kind of elevate Christian Cage at a reasonable rate to make him even more believable and established.
It's funny you should say that, because on paper, at least on TV, Christian Cage has pretty much had the same amount of wins as Miro has. So, and yet one of them has a title and the other one doesn't. So yes, I agree with your sentiment, but they contradict themselves at every turn.
Yeah.
So
Christian Cage isn't asking for a title shot, though. Miro did.
But that's obviously they're going to work towards that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And this is just we're saying the same thing, I think.
Right.
It's just a way for them to kind of build that up and not have it like, God, his first match back was the Royal Rumble. Right? He hasn't really wrestled a singles match in a long time. I think this is perfect for him.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably one of the more believable and realistic storylines that they have is Christian Cage.
That I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. It still hasn't. I would still rather have just seen somebody else at that level that wasn't a teeny tiny tag team wrestler wrestle him. And no, and if he was gonna do it, give me a 6-minute match, not a 12-minute match. That maybe that would have made me feel a bit better about it. But I don't need 12 minutes of Christian Cage trying to beat a guy that visibly looks half his size. I can't.
I mean, Christian Cage versus Adam Page, that would be badass.
That'd be killer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be awesome.
But they're doing the right thing.
Sure. The idea is doing the right thing. That's what I was trying to say, is that take interchangeable wrestler Matt Sydal with anybody
Colt
else.
Cabana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else in his position that is.
Listen.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a bitchin' match? Christian Cage versus Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah. Man. That'd be great. That'd be killer. And we get the nostalgia value too. Yeah.
You get why I've geeked over AEW for a minute.
Yes. Though they're not doing any of that stuff.
They're not. They're not, because I honestly think, like I said, I don't know if it was in a group chat or on the show, Tony Khan is low-key a genius. Low-key.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
So the aftermath of that match, this got my 1 count. Like I said before, it got my 1 count. It wasn't like a tap out or anything for me, because there were good moments. The aftermath was pretty awkward. It looks like there was lots of miscommunication. Ricky Starks comes out first, announces he's returned. Clearly, or maybe the announcers announced that he returned. I thought that he was injured. I guess it's not as serious as we thought. Then the rest of Team Taz come out and they attack. And then we see Adam Page, who is... He hands his drink to Ricky Stark. I swear that had to be like a Red Bull and not a beer, because he was visibly more amped up than everybody else in the ring. And you could tell he was trying to get everyone else going. It looked really awkward to me. Like, there were a couple of spots where he went to do his lariat, and it looked like Brian Cage didn't know it was coming. He went to do another move on name the other guys in Team Taz. Not Hook, but
well, real quick, I'll throw this out there. Starks is out with a fractured neck for about 3 months.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, so
you're talking about Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse. There we go. Okay. Powerhouse Hobbs. Well, Starks comes out and talks first. So I just assumed that he was back. He was back. I didn't realize.
He's the one guy that can talk the best out of all of them, as you can see.
So he'll at least be on TV while he is rehabbing his neck. Okay,
correct.
Gotcha. Okay, well that's cool. Cool, fair enough. Yeah, there was a point with Powerhouse Hobbs where they did this corner bump thing, and Adam Page runs to give him some type of clothesline, and Powerhouse Hobbs just kind of collapses over, and he misses, and he awkwardly, Adam Page turns back around and is like, okay, I don't know what to do right now, so I'm just going to go hit Brian Cage again. Like there's no like proper communication, or there's nothing natural going on yet. Like, there's no natural chemistry where these guys know how to read each other's minds to make it look like a real brawl yet. And maybe that'll come with time. Maybe it'll come with them actually doing something with Adam Page, which would be really nice. at some point.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
moving on. Next section, we had a Varsity Blondes promo segment. I got to ask you, I thought the entire premise of AEW was it wasn't supposed to be scripted.
Yeah. I mean,
this was clearly written by the Young Bucks. They are directing this entire match and segment. It was a bad, phony WWE promo.
Listen, I'm going to go back to saying that Tony Khan might be a low-key genius. All right?
Okay.
So, hang on. Sorry, folks. Allergies. Here's what I'm thinking. What you just said, that the Young Bucks are booking this. Yeah, I'm sure they are. They might be one of the first tag teams in a long time to get super, super heat. Think about it. The reality of wrestling, right? They're EVPs. They can call the shots, right? If it wasn't for them figuring out how to sell merch and do all that stuff, right? That's a big accomplishment. They've worked their way into this spot. I think they are truly being themselves right now, and they are kayfabing it completely all over the board. They're doing a great job. Let's take a moment and say that. They are doing a great job. They buried the hell out of the Varsity Blondes.
Yeah.
They didn't give him any hope spots. They didn't do anything. Cornette talked about it. I don't want to get into that, but yeah, this segment was written for them, as I'm sure most of them are, right? And including, look, it was a phony promo, but it was also cool to see some other people on this show talk for once.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, the Young Bucks,
they came off really, really green. Varsity Blondes came out really, really green. But that's one of the premises for me that was, if there are a few that are exciting, are getting to see unscripted promos from new talent. I don't want to see an unscripted promo from the Young Bucks. They're awful on the mic. I don't want to see, like, I mean, you can compliment all you want. I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're that good. I'm not going to. But that's okay. We're never gonna. I don't think we'll ever agree on that. But
we might one day.
Well, we'll see. But
okay,
yeah. Do I want to see what Brian Pillman Jr. has to say off the cuff, whether he buries himself or not? Yes, I absolutely do. That was the whole premise of this show: is that they are unscripted and uncuffed.
I think it's only a matter of time. I think that they're going to do big stuff. Varsity Blondes. I hope they do.
Yeah, I like the look of them.
Gets his hair cut.
Right. Yeah.
But man, ease it in.
Okay.
Ease it in.
All right. Well, I hope so. I hope that they get
Me too.
Very far away from the Young Bucks. Anyway, we'll get back more on that match later. That was just so you guys know, anyone's listening, that was my tap out. The Bucks versus the Varsity Blondes. That was my tap out for everything. But we'll get to it as it closes the show, and I'm just going to go through chronological order.
Do it.
Next up, which got my 3 count. I actually enjoyed this. Moxley and Kingston backstage promo. I thought it was funny. I don't know how Moxley does this, but he ropes me in with his. He always manages to get me invested in whatever he's doing. I don't know how he does it, but in not so many words, he'll make me believe what's happening and get invested in the match. He made me believe that they are in contendership for tag titles in one quick sentence, and he buried the Acclaimed, which I thought was great. The way that he did it, the way that the two of them did it, they're like, oh, they're rappers, so, and like the rapper's friend or something, I don't know, and it was, cool, well, I guess we'll see. Like they could give a shit. Like it was very funny. I liked the way that they did it. And they did it in a way that made me care about the match, and I really dug that.
Yep.
That match was up next. They defeated the Acclaimed. I want to put this down here. I know that you were a big fan of Max Caster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that type of entrance. He came out, and the first thing he says is some gay joke about the two of them buying each other's Valentine's gifts. Sure, it was tongue in cheek. It's not like he came out and said you're gay, but I mean, it was like, why is that an insult in 2021? You know, especially on a show that's supposed to be all inclusive. You know, that they celebrate their diversity, celebrate their AEWs for everyone. Then some low hanging fruit about at that point, like the low hanging fruit about Renee's podcast, the oral session thing, which I could see was coming from a mile away. I still don't find it clever. I just still don't find him clever. That's still me, still not for me. But I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that love that. Fairly good tag match though. Nothing crazy. I didn't see anything. Nothing. No crazy high flying stuff. The two teams really did put on an entertaining match as far as a professional wrestling match goes, which
Yes.
I liked and I appreciated very much because,
Yep.
as we've spoken before, that's where we come from. I wish Moxley would go to the gym.
I want to stay away from the rap.
Okay.
But I do want to say one thing. Is Moxley and like Cody, are a lot of guys just not trimming their chest hair?
Oh, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know.
Have you noticed that recently?
I can't say that it popped out to me, but now now it's gonna be popping out to me, which is
Literally.
great. Yeah.
I noticed that. I don't know if it was like right at the end of winter where a lot of guys, like you could tell it was cold, like you could see their breath and everything. But
Yeah.
I could kind of tell that a couple of guys that are usually pretty,
Yeah.
shaved and cut, that Cody's put on some poundage.
Yeah.
Moxley has put on a couple
I
of
feel
pounds.
like
Not a bad thing.
isn't that this industry like
I'm okay with
isn't
it.
part of
I don't care.
this industry also taking pride in your appearance in that respect?
Damn it.
Oh. Yeah, I'll look out for the chest hair thing. I think that sounds so weird to say. Isn't this is an overarching theme I am starting to see in AEW is the not giving a shit about their appearance thing. I'm not really seeing many like jacked, super ripped guys. I mean, there's the one or two notable, but think about all their big guys. You got Lance Archer, you got John Moxley, even Cody, who used to be super ripped. I'm looking at Anthony Ogogo, Adam Page. No one is like super jacked in that, and maybe that's just like their thing is like they want to relate to
Even Omega,
the average person, and he used to be also cut, and everyone's just kind of letting themselves go. No one really cares. And so maybe that's just a purely preference thing, and they don't want to be known as the company that has a bunch of jacks.
Listen, I think it's the fact that they're all not touring anymore, and I think the cycle that they used to have has caught up to them. Their metabolism has been, I don't think it's anything intentional. I think it's just the nature of the environment that they've been in for almost a year.
Which is amazing because when you're at home, you have way more time and way more focus to get yourself in shape.
You are the proof of that, my friend. And
that's all I'm going to say. It's much harder when you're on the road to eat well, to get your training in, to get proper sleep. So I don't understand. There's no excuse as far as I'm concerned, but it's fine. At the end of the day, it's still preference. If that's their thing, then that's fine. But to me, I just wish Moxley would put on a shirt.
Listen,
just put.
I don't know how many professional wrestlers have made a row in a Chevy Express a bed more than me.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, exactly. The last note I'm going to say about this match was in the entrance, which I don't know if you noticed that they found a slightly more recent version of Wild Thing, which I'm happy about, because I just wanted I wanted them to do a modern cover of that song. That would have been
I don't
great.
know, man. I dug the OG version.
Well, I wanted to bring this up last week, and we never got to it. It would be cool, but Moxley doesn't walk or act the way that you should for that theme music. The constant, like, super amped up, hyped thing for that song. Like, that song, you got to be walking out slow. You got to be methodical. Like, I'm awesome. And he doesn't, that's not how he acts. So to me, I'm glad that they updated it, because it seemed, yes, it's a cool theme.
Do you know where it came from?
But it seemed a lot. The song?
No, I mean the wrestling in why that was such a big deal for Wild Thing to be used.
Oh, no, I just know the song.
Well,
like
there was it was like in 1989 Onita in New Japan.
Okay.
He used it in his entrance at the Tokyo Dome, and fans were just throwing so much garbage. He just took a seat and had a smoke while fans threw garbage at him.
Gotcha.
So I was really happy with the Troggs version. I think I don't know if this was really because of Bully Ray, but he asked Tony Khan about the one from some stupid movie from the 80s or 90s, and then they ended up using that one.
It was like the Joan Jett. It sounded like Joan Jett doing it.
It was the one from what was the female baseball movie? League of Their Own.
Oh, League of Their Own. Yeah.
But there was some significance to it. I when you say he doesn't have the right move or flow for the entrance, he kind of Moxley pronouns bout. Moxley kind of has this like Vince McMahon, like lazy kind of move kind of vibe, right? Where he's just kind of like, he looks like he's stuck on spin cycle when he's walking,
Yeah, but he looks like he's doing it at twice the speed that Vince McMahon does it. That's the difference. Is he looks like he's on cocaine all the time.
And that's what I think Wild Thing makes so much sense for somebody like Moxley. Both he and his wife live in Vegas. Moxley is kind of like a unorthodox, wild deathmatch motherfucker that loves all that hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
To me, the Troggs version of Wild Thing is perfect for Moxley, more so than that stock sample library.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hey, listen, that stuff was awful, and we knew we know.
And having more commercial music in wrestling and entrance music is something I would love to be a thing. As much as I would love to be Jim Johnson, and we try to do that, we might try to do it again, but I would really love it if, gosh, Fox, come on, USA, you guys have WWE, you have access to a gigantic library of released music that you could use for your TV show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. You know what? I'd like to hear from other people. I'd love other people to chime in on this, because I didn't know anything about the history, and again, like it goes to say about a lot of the stuff on this show is like I care that he used it in 1989. Like, I'm not looking up history of a match somewhere in Japan somewhere. Like, sure, some people are, but like to the average viewer, if you're trying to get new viewers, what do you see on TV? What I see on TV, I don't think a crazy psychopath that's coked out on his mind when I hear the song Wild Thing. I don't.
Did you ever see Scarface?
So
Okay.
I did,
Any?
but I don't remember
It
that
wasn't.
song.
That wasn't a song that was used.
Oh, okay.
But in my mind, it's kind of like, for a song selection like that, it made me pop because it's like, one, that's different. You're right. That song does not fit Moxley, but in a twisted way, it kind of does.
Okay.
That's yeah.
I'm just not. But I'm just not seeing
fine.
it.
That's fine.
That's it. And I'm just not seeing it. I saw it more with this other version.
That's fair.
And that was the point. Is I was like, I'm glad that they used a slightly different version because he wasn't selling the other one.
You know, Moxley had no idea that they were even going to do that until he walked out.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
He had no idea. So he gets out there and he's thinking, and he hears Wild Thing. And he knew about the Onita thing. Like he knows about the history of that, and Tony Khan just didn't tell him. He was able to license it. And good for the Trunks. That's one. There's only one guy left in that band. Oh, that's awesome. Great payday.
I will wholeheartedly agree with that as a fellow musician. Can I just say that singing the wrestlers singing along to Judas excluded out of this, but in general, seeing the wrestlers singing to entrance themes is really, and I try my personal best not to curse a lot on this podcast, but it's really fucking lame. They expect us to see these up and coming professional wrestlers dancing and singing and smiling and singing along to theme music, and then one day they're going to step in the ring and they can somehow be intimidating.
Yep.
Get the fuck out of here, man! Like,
stay in your lane. What I'm saying? Like, do what you do best. Leave all the other stuff alone to other people. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Anyway, I am on my on the ropes section. Was the you'll probably disagree with this. It was the Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky section segment. The interaction they have between Sting, or as I'm now affectionately calling him, Snow Cane. You know, the really cheesy bad MIDI organ sample that they have at the beginning.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. But between Sting and Darby and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, their in-ring promo, I believe both of them. I like the look and sound of both of these guys. I don't know anything about really. I mean, a little bit about Scorpio Sky. I know nothing about Ethan Page. All I see is two guys that look like they can handle their own. I saw them throw Darby Allin down some stairs. You know,
it sucks that we had Darby Allin as a legit TNT champion. They weren't great. I mean, they were pretty good matches. Let me take that back. There were a couple that were turds, but I think this is just another way for Sting to get another contractually obligated, VTR match, and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are the two people that are going to get the rub. And to do that, I hate it. I don't hate it. I don't like it because I think Sting could be better utilized elsewhere. I think if anybody could have a safe match with Sting in AEW, it would probably be Miro. I think Miro could really take care of Sting in a match, and I think that would be.
Why do you say that? Just out of interest.
Well, okay. Let's just talk about the current roster in AEW, right? If there was going to be a match, I wouldn't trust someone like Adam Page to take care of Sting. Maybe Christian Cage. I don't know why they would do that. I wouldn't trust Chris Jericho to have a match with Sting. I would. Cody Rhodes would do great. Dustin Rhodes would do great. But what's the story?
Right.
The only person that I could really, Kenny Omega. Sorry, I wouldn't trust Omega with Sting. MJF.
It's a total mismatch.
It is a mismatch. I think Miro being the TNT champion and Sting, that would be a cool title match. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, anyway, this is my on the ropes because I don't want to say it's going to go one way or the other. The reason why is because of Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky in this situation. Nothing to do with Darby and Sting. They didn't really have much to do in this segment. They just came out and got into a brawl. I liked both of them on the mic. I liked both Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
They talk like grown ass men.
They were believable. Yeah, and it didn't feel staged and scripted and phony. It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it. So it was at this point. I don't know. Excalibur must have done something or said something that pissed me off because he fucking sucks. I don't know what he did. Yeah, he did something later in the. He has go away heat with me. I don't want to hear him anymore.
Man, I would love it if Excalibur turned heel and was a part of the Elite, and he was the heel announcer. Again, I got to say it. Tony Khan might be a genius.
Okay, but he's not.
Fair enough.
So I'm saying he's not a heel, therefore he's not a genius.
I'm just trying to find, and like we said earlier, or like I said earlier, I'm trying to find something somewhere that brings me back.
I know.
And man, I would love it if Excalibur turned heel. Continue.
If he did, I would eat my words. I'll take all this back. But right now, he's just the play-by-play guy. And not only is he a play-by-play guy, he is the guy. His only job is to tell me what's happening on the screen. But every time he says anything, I'm like, yeah, no shit, man. I can see it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I can see it. If that is your job, if that's your only job, and you have go away heat with me, then I don't like him. He's terrible. He's Michael Cole bad for me. I can't do it. I just want to hear. Honestly, at this point, I just want to hear Shivani and JR. That would be enough for me.
I disagree.
Okay, well then anybody else. I just can't do him. He is.
What about
awful.
Matt Stryker
and oh, he was great.
Yeah, Matt Stryker and what was the Mike Tenay?
Yeah, please, either of them. Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Just get rid of Mask Face.
I would like Don Callis to do commentary. Don Callis, Matt Stryker, and how about Jerry the King Law? Just kidding.
Wow. Yep. Yeah, I went from midnight to 6 right there.
Full lip, everybody. Short, shriveled. All
but anyway, I'll say this later in the Young Bucks match where the Young Bucks match. Don Callis says how they're the greatest tag team, or I think it was JR that said Don called Don Callis out for saying, you say that they're the greatest tag team of all time or whatever. And, that's an arguable comment. And Excalibur, who's supposed to be the completely neutral play-by-play guy, said, I'll agree with you that they are the greatest tag team of their generation. And this is all he does. He just stooges for the executives in this company. And that's why I hate him so much. He's not a good play-by-play guy for me. He's just a dork. Speaking of dorks, they just had to squeeze the Dark Order in there at the end of that Ethan Page and Scorpion's guy. Oh my God. I wish that had never happened. But that's why I'm on the ropes with that. Otherwise, it probably would have made it into one of my counts. Next section, we have the Pinnacle dinner segment. I don't know if that was a veiled dig at the dinner circle.
I think there's a lot that they're doing to kind of poke fun at their own
in jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I said so that we got some good promo stuff from MJF. Everything he says, every promo he does is good. I think we take it for granted.
Even if it's bad, it's just him saying it, and at any minute he could flip a kid off.
Exactly. We all love him, even when it's terrible. We still love him, except for the singing thing. I'm so glad I never watched that episode. I still have. I never watched that segment because I didn't want to get this tainted version of MJF in my brain.
I think you and I have played on worse things than that.
Oh, for sure.
That's why I watched it. I was
but I didn't star in them.
Do you want to be added to the credits? No, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm good. That's what my alias is for. That's that'll be John. Make the check out to John Smith. So anyway, some good promo stuff mixed in with some phony, stupid comedy crap. Cash, I believe, is the one talking.
Sure.
Cash Wheeler.
One of the FTR boys.
One of the FTR guys who, I so desperately want to like them. I really do. They're still good they're great. They're great in the ring. They haven't done anything. They keep squandering them. I don't know what they're waiting for, but he does a little talking, which he's good. He's also good. He's a good promo. But he talks about being embarrassed to wrestle the Inner Circle whilst holding Rosé. Can't take him seriously.
Yep.
That's just my thing. I don't get it.
I can't be afraid of a guy sipping a pineapple White Claw.
Even
though I did enjoy one this weekend, it was delicious.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. What in the middle of this promo, Sean Spears gets mad at the waiter and slams his head down to the table and demands something. I don't even know what was going on, but are we supposed to believe that Sean Spears is the big tough guy now?
I mean, he is the chairman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck it. Look.
More MJF, please.
Yeah.
MJF, that'd be great. Regardless, whatever. I just wanted to talk about that real fast. MJF is great. I really hope he can carry the rest of them through. Unless, of course, it's FTR in a tag match. And then they're awesome.
Yep.
Yep. Next up, we had Hikaru Shida versus defeating Reba. It's Reba, right? Not
Rebel.
Reba or whatever. All right. Via, not Rebel. With Britt Baker, who we know is the number one contender to Hikaru Shida's championship. She wins via DQ in a god-awful match. I said, thank God it was quick. You can tell. I'm going to give Shida some credit here. I can tell that she knows what she's doing.
She does?
Yeah, I can. She has good. She knows where she is. She knows where the camera is. Reba doesn't. She is the drizzling shits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to go there. Continue.
Fair enough. That was it. That's all I had for that. Next up, we actually had a recap video on AEW Dynamite. God. It's insane. We actually recapped the Pac Cassidy travesty from last week that saw Pac dropping Cassidy on his head, and in his another tiny untrained wrestler gets injured again. With Omega coming and stalling. I don't know if did we cover that last week? Did we say that the spot where Don Callis and Omega had to quickly come out and stall for the match while Cassidy laid there?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
He got dropped on his head and they had to stop the match. But instead of like just calling the match and doing the ring bell and then going to a different segment, Omega and Don Callis came out and talked on the mic while the refs checked on Cassidy and just prolonged this painful segment until they could do a really bad finish that saw I don't know, maybe Cassidy somehow go over Pac. It took a really long time. It was really awkward. Anyway, at the end of that, they showed a segment from after that match. They played this video of Don Callis and Omega meeting Cassidy in the training room, in the medical room, telling him to sign a contract saying that he would back out of the match, but he would guarantee himself another match later on. We didn't get a conclusion to that, but at least it's setting up some story, and they showed a recap video. Whether you, as a viewer, whether you care about this or not, at least they're doing some setup here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It was heelish. It was whatever. And Cassie didn't say anything, thank God, because I don't want to hear him talk. This the next section, Otis's dad and the rest of the new kids on the clock are up next. For more promos. No. And unless you know what I'm talking about, the inner circle are out next.
God, you're referring to Jericho as Otis's dad.
Yeah, they just look so bad. They look so bad. I didn't write this part down in my notes, but I want to say this. I do like Sammy Guevara, but he looks like the stunted twin of Austin Theory. It looks like Austin Theory got all the genetics.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I can't unsee
Look at them
that.
back to back. Yeah, look at them. And it's like, oh man. So the little brother, he's the little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
It's funny.
I'm looking at this right now. Yeah. Do me a favor. If you like Sammy Guevara, do not go watch his YouTube channel. Okay.
I absolutely
now,
will
I
not
didn't
then.
know this. I didn't know that Sammy hadn't wrestled in a very long time. After Blood and Guts, that was his first match back. Yeah, don't go watch his YouTube channel. It is by far some of the worst content, and I've seen a lot of really bad stuff. That was awful.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. I will never do that.
If it pops up, stay away from it. It is awful. Yeah,
done. They all take turns speaking. Jake Hager tries to speak.
Oh, God.
They accept the Stadium Stampede match at Double or Nothing. I'm sure we're all looking forward to that. If they lose, they have to split up. And I put God willing. More middle fingers, and that's the end of that segment. My 2 count for the night was Serena Deeb defeating Red Velvet.
You gave this a 2 count. Wow.
I did. Yep.
Okay.
There was nothing offensive about this.
That's all you need to get Leigh's 2 count on AEW.
That is my standard. That is my bar.
Oh man, what a bad state we're in, huh? You know.
I know.
Okay.
I know. But that's it. Not much to say about the match. I'm not going to say as far as women's wrestling goes. As far as match goes, it was a good match. They put on a good match. It may have gone on a little bit too long. I said my only real criticism was, did it really need 2 Serena locks back to back? I feel like she could have tapped out the first one, and that would have been good.
I mean, that was it. Yeah,
that was my 2 count. Next up, I've introduced a new just for Anthony Ogogo.
Anthony, go away.
Go away, exactly. I've introduced a new segment. It's called the knockout segment. This one knocked me out.
I love it.
If tapping out to the Young Bucks, this one is knocking me out. Firstly, the governor thing. I'm just front. I find it to be as a Brit, as an ex-Brit, an expat Brit. I find it to be stereotypically insulting. You couldn't think of something more original. It sounds like a guy that spent his entire time born and raised in Clewiston, Florida, that's never really had any interaction with a Brit before, saying, "Oh, you're British. All right, governor."
The biggest
you know what I'm
place
saying?
they've been to is Jacksonville.
Exactly, and I'm like, really? That's your whatever. He defeated Austin Gunn most of the match. It was a really short match. Most of it was selling the internal bleeding from the devastating gut shots, which is still just not believable to me.
I got a hot take on where I think this is going. And
well,
yeah,
let me finish this, and then I want to hear that. I want to hear it because I want somebody to turn my mind around on this, because I really feel like this whole angle is stupid. The British American feud is, I'm speechless. Like, really, this is the original content that you can think of. This is the
I'm telling you, it's a placeholder. Continue.
Okay. All right. Good. Because I don't want to see it anymore. It's just, I just want to see something different. The only thing I liked about this segment, one thing is, and I hope that he starts using this as his finisher instead of the stupid gut shots. He does this move that he almost looks like he's going for a throw up power bomb, where he throws Austin Gunn up and then he seemingly gives him a knockout punch, but to the chin this time. Ooh. And lays him out in midair. Okay, so that to me is a finisher. Okay, not
the gut punch.
A gut punch. So it's seemingly like he must have given Austin Gunn 3 gut punches and then that. And that was pretty much the wrestling match. So maybe they've listened to some feedback and maybe they're deciding to go in a different direction as far as his finisher is concerned. So maybe, especially like if he's going to face Cody Rhodes, really, like if Cody Rhodes is going to get pinned or covered for a gut punch. I don't think so. I don't see that happening, but that's just me. So anyway, that was my knockout segment. I want to hear your take on this. Please change my mind.
All right. This is going to be a little messed up, but hear me out.
Okay.
What's going on in Cody's personal life right now?
He was about to have a kid, as he so eloquently and emotionally broke down.
And what's something that his father, Dusty Rhodes, even his brother, Dustin, what were they all known for? As far as like the biggest climax of their career, something happened where some drastic form of reality took place, right? Dusty Rhodes, baby doll, got kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Dustin, the whole gold dust thing, going crazy. I have a feeling that this whole gut punch thing,
it's going to bring back Stardust. No. Okay, sorry. My bad. Keep going.
I hope this isn't true, but I have a feeling they're setting up to where Anthony Ogogo punches Brandy in the stomach.
Oh God.
I'm just saying. I'm just
No.
saying. I don't want that to happen. I really hope that's not what they're doing. I really hope. Why else? The whole country thing, and maybe that's Cody wanting to run politics or whatever, maybe. But part of me thinks you got a guy that's got a pregnant wife and a guy that throws punches in the guts. I don't know. I really hope that doesn't happen. But it slipped into my brain. I'm
really,
like, I really hope they don't go there.
that would be really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that would be really.
It would be in really,
taste.
and I would turn it off immediately. I really,
Yeah,
I hope that's not where they go.
You're pregnant, stay home.
Yeah.
You know?
And but obviously, congratulations to them. We've said that before. We're really happy.
Oh.
I just hope this is not some stupid thing where, I mean, we saw him
Stay home and take care of your baby.
take care of yourself. Yeah.
Take care of the kid and take care of the kid. Yeah. That's there's no place for that.
I really
on
hope
TV.
that doesn't happen, but it's just, I just feel like if they were going to try to do something to push the envelope a little bit, that'd be a thing. I just really hope that doesn't happen. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. I hope it doesn't also. Not much left of the show. The next, we have a little in-ring promo, and even though the camera angle was really awkward during this whole promo segment, I put here actually a pretty good promo segment from Miro.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything stupid. He had some pretty good clapbacks to Lance Archer. They always look awkward though. Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. They always look awkward. They always come off being awkward. It always comes off like Jake doesn't really know where he's supposed to be or what he's supposed to be saying or doing at the time. And it always feels like Lance is just there to try and give Jake some airtime.
Yeah.
Regardless, he came out, I'll give it a 6 out of 10 for his promo, and Miro clapped back, and I'm gonna give him credit. It was believable, and I liked the stuff he was saying. And if you're a fan of this show and you are listening right now, go and you missed this segment, just go watch that little segment. That's how he should have been speaking and should be speaking the whole time. Yeah. I am going to give Miro a restart from here. This is my official restamp restart. I'm going to ignore everything that he has done up until this point, and I want to go from here. Monster Miro, let's go. And I'm going to give him a shot because this is what he should have been the entire time.
Yep.
Finally, last but not least, my tap out section. The Bucks versus the Varsity Blondes. I did not find this match to be very good at all.
Okay.
It was just pantomime. There was no wrestling. I don't mind a little bit of heelish behavior in the midst of a wrestling match, but when the entire thing is just pantomime, I don't know. It was putting me to sleep. I don't know whether that ref is part of their gimmick or not. At this point, it's becoming insulting to the viewer for me.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Rick Knox is in some way influenced by the Young Bucks.
Well, they allude to it, but it's so tongue in cheek and it's so in joke and
he's been bad at refereeing since the show started,
right? And so either come out with a full blown gimmick about it or not, because it's starting to become insulting. Okay. That's all. Mm-hmm. The afterbirth Mox and Kingston attack the Bucks, put them to sleep, and as they're saying goodnight, I said I said I feel like this show put me to sleep too. So,
well, look, I tell you this. Well, I'll let you finish your thoughts. I'm sorry.
That was it. I'm officially snoozing after that.
Well, here's what we got looking at us, right?
Yeah.
This week, we've already talked about Raw and SmackDown. I mean, is there anything from SmackDown that you want to get into?
Just Aleister Black.
Okay.
So whether you, because we didn't talk about this earlier, whether we've spoken about in the past, we've spoken about the whole blacking out the arena thing, how it's been overly done and over to death, and it's doesn't mean anything anymore. So I thought it was especially funny that they used a white outlight to to blind everybody.
That's new. They even gave what's her face. We were talking about earlier on NXT when Frankie Monet, another blackout. Why?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, who cares about them anymore? So I liked that they did that. I've liked the build with Aleister Black so far, and I hope they don't squander it. So I want to see more of him. They've made me interested in him again, as opposed because they crushed him before. So I'm ready. I like the contact. He's still selling the eye injury from way back when. I appreciate little details like that. So that's the only thing I wanted to bring up from SmackDown. We both agree. I don't think that you disagree with Kyle on Roman Reigns.
No. Roman Reigns is by far probably the best he's ever been.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick and tired of these damn 4-way matches. I don't care about them. It's just a way to get people on the show. Same thing with the first match with Bianca Belair and Tamina and Natalya. Don't care. It's great to see Aleister Black. I loved Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance with this guitar player and like,
this is what I got. No, this is what I got to hear.
Okay.
I have to hear your hot take. What was what's the girl guitar player that that played? Was it the anthem or something that you
Nita
ripped
Strauss.
into her for? Nita Strauss, there you ripped into her for not tuning her instrument. I really got to hear your take on this new guy.
Okay, so this dude who even spelled his last name, Rick Boogs. Well, he said it like Boogs. Comes out with a flying V. I'm pretty sure it was an Epiphone flying V. It was awful, man. I mean, I've had some really bad performances in my life. Every single time I was in tune. Learn the song, intonate your instrument. Don't let anybody embarrass you like Rick. I would be embarrassed if I were you. Hey, awesome that you got the gig. You look great. You're stacked, bro. You are ripped. You look great. But that guitar was terrible. Next time somebody says like, hey, we want you to look like you're a rock star. Here's a flying V. Like, no. Give me a Strat. It was probably recorded with the Strat or a Les Paul. Let's be real. Actually, it was done by CFO, so it was probably done with a damn VST.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, guitar. Oh, my God. So I have an idea for next week.
Yeah.
Because we do have Double or Nothing this Sunday.
I know.
So I'm going to be real with everybody. As we stated at the beginning of the show, it is getting a little bit more complicated to keep up with a lot of this stuff. We started a little late. The podcast, we started doing it a little too late. And even if we had started in the middle of the pandemic, life just catches up. So here's what my proposal is for next week's show. We watch Double or Nothing and we talk about Double or Nothing along with news.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I don't know what's going to happen. If something happens on Raw or SmackDown, of course we'll bring it up. But I think next week's show, we pretty much dedicate it just to Double or Nothing. And let's go over the card. AEW World Championship match, Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy and Pac. Hikaru Shida and Dr. Britt Baker in the AEW Women's Championship match. By the way, this is a full capacity Daily's Place. Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo, Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage. We got the Casino Battle Royale, Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Zero Miedo, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and one more to be announced. TNT Championship match, Miro versus Lance Archer. That's going to be awesome. And then we have the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle in a Stadium Stampede. By the way, we're not done. Sting and Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. AEW Tag Team Championship match, the Young Bucks versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. It is a stacked friggin' card this Sunday at Daily's Place. What are your?
I mean, I heard a couple of matches I'm interested in. I'm not sure I'm going to say it's stacked.
It's stacked as in it's a massive card.
It's a lot. It's just a lot. Yeah.
It's an absolute cacophony of jobbers.
Yeah. Well, I have a question, a pertinent question. If we're only going to review one thing, then what are we going to get Killer Take by Kyle? What are we going to get Kyle to send in for us?
That's a good question.
We have 1 week of Killer Takes from Kyle, and then we're done.
Okay. We'll revisit this. If you heard anything that we just talked about, great. If you didn't, then we're working on it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us on yet another week of Trolling the Territory. I'm Isaac Riston. You can find me at Isaac Riston. You can find Leigh Howison by typing in Howison, and Howison is spelled
Houison.
Yeah. Folks, keep watching wrestling. Keep petting and loving your animals. Love each other. And give love out for free. It should be.
Yeah. I agree.
And it's time. Speaking of, it's time, folks. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.